Next to Christmas Day, the most pleasant annual epoch in existence is the advent of the new year.
There is a lachrymose set of people who usher in the new year as if they were the chief mourners at the obsequies of the old one.
Now we cannot but think it is a great deal more complimentary, both to the old year that has rolled away,
and to the new year that is just beginning,
to see the old fellow out and the new one in, with gaiety and glee.
There must have been some occurrences in the past year to which we can look back with a smile of cheerful recollection.
If not, with a feeling of heartfelt thankfulness.
And we are bound by every rule of justice and equity to give the new year credit for being a good one, until he proves himself unworthy of the confidence we repose in him.
This is our view of the matter, and here we are, seated by our fireside on this last night of the old year, with as jovial a face as if nothing was about to happen to disturb our good humour.
Hackney coaches and carriages keep rattling up and down the street in rapid succession, conveying smartly dressed coachfuls to crowded parties.
Loud and repeated double knocks at the house with green blinds opposite announce to the whole neighbourhood that there's one large party in the street at all events.
And we saw through the window, and through the fog too, till it grew so thick that we rang for candles and drew our curtains.
Pastry cooks' men, with green boxes on their heads, and cane seats and French lamps, hurrying to the numerous houses where an annual festival is held in honour of the occasion.
We can fancy one of these parties as well as if we were duly dress-coated and pumped and had just been announced at the drawing-room door.
The master of the house with the green blinds is in public office. We know that by the cut of his coat, the tie of his neckcloth, and the self-satisfaction of his gait.
Listen, a cab.
That's a junior clerk in the same office.
a tidy sort of young man with a tendency to colding corns, who comes in a pair of boots and brings his shoes in his coat pocket.
Which shoes he is at this very moment putting on in the hall.
He is announced at the drawing-room door.
Mr. Tupple. How are you, Tupple?
Says the master of the house, advancing from the fire, before which he has been talking politics and airing himself.
My dear, this is Mr. Tupple.
A courteous salute from the lady of the house.
Tupple, my eldest daughter.
Julia.
Tupple, my other daughters.
Mr. Tupple.
Mr. Tupple.
And my son.
Sir.
Tupple smiles as if it were all capital fun.
And he keeps bowing till the whole family have been introduced, when he glides into a chair at the corner of the sofa and opens a miscellaneous conversation with the young ladies upon
The weather.
and the theatres
And the old year.
And the last new murder.
and the festivities of the season.
And a great many other topics of small talk.
More double knocks.
What an extensive party.
What an incessant hum of conversation and general sipping of coffee.
Tupple is now in the height of his glory.
He has just handed the stout old lady's cup to the servant.
Thank you, sir.
And now he dives among the crowd of young men by the door to intercept the other servant and secure the muffin plate for the old lady's daughter.
And now, as he passes the sofa on his way back, he bestows a glance of recognition and patronage upon the young ladies, as condescending and familiar as if he had known them from infancy.
Charming person, Mr. Tupple.
Perfect ladies' man.
Such a delightful companion, too.
Nobody ever understood Papa's jokes half so well as Mr. Tupple.
Who laughs himself into convulsions at every fresh burst of facetiousness.
Most delightful partner, talks through the whole set.
And although he does seem at first rather frivolous,
So romantic.
And with so much feeling.
Quite a love.
No great favourite with the young men, certainly, who sneer and affect to despise him.
But everybody knows that's only envy.
And Ma says he shall be asked to every future dinner party.
If it's only to talk to people between the courses and distract their attention when there's any unexpected delay in the kitchen.
At supper, When Pa requests everyone to fill their glasses for the purpose of drinking happiness throughout the year, Mr. Tupple is so droll.
Insisting on all the young ladies having their glasses filled.
Notwithstanding their repeated assurances that they can never think of emptying them.
And subsequently begging permission to say a few words on the sentiment just uttered by Pa.
When he makes one of the most brilliant and poetical speeches that can possibly be imagined about the old year.
And the new one.
After the toast has been drunk, Mr. Tupple requests that
Every gentleman will do him the favour of filling his glass, for he has a toast to propose.
And pass the decanters accordingly.
And Mr. Tupple rises and begs to remind the gentlemen how much they have been delighted
By the dazzling array of elegance and beauty which the drawing room has exhibited that night. And how their senses have been charmed and their hearts captivated by the bewitching concentration of female loveliness which that very room has so recently displayed. The ladies.
the ladies.
And a
Happy New Year to them. The applause has scarcely subsided when
A young gentleman in a pink under waistcoat, sitting towards the bottom of the table, is observed to grow very restless and fidgety, and to evince strong indications of some latent desire to give vent to his feelings in a speech.
which the wary Tupple, at once perceiving, determines to forestall.
He, therefore, rises again with an air of solemn importance and trusts he may be permitted to propose another toast.
And Mr. Tupple proceeds.
He is sure they must all be deeply impressed with the hospitality, the splendour with which they have been that night received by their worthy host and hostess. Although this is the first occasion on which he has had the pleasure of sitting at this table, he has known his friend Dobble long and intimately, has been connected with him in business. He wishes everybody present knew Dobble as well as he does.
He
Tupple,
can lay his hand upon his
Tupples,
Heart, and declare his confident belief that a better man, a better husband, a better father, a better brother, a better son, a better relation than Dobble never existed.
Quite so.
They have seen him tonight in the peaceful bosom of his family.
They should see him in the morning in the trying duties of his office.
Calm in the perusal of the morning papers.
Uncompromising in the signature of his name.
Dignified in his replies to the inquiries of stranger applicants.
Deferential in his behaviour to his superiors.
Majestic in his deportment to the messengers.
And what can he say in approaching a subject such as Mrs. Dobble?
No, he will spare his friend Dobble's feelings. He will spare the feelings of his friend, if he will allow him to have the honour of calling him so, Mr. Dobble Jr.
Here, Mr. Dobble Jr., who has been previously distending his mouth to a considerable width by thrusting a particularly fine orange into that feature, suspends operations and assumes a proper appearance of intense melancholy.
He will simply say, and he is quite certain it is a sentiment in which all who hear him will readily concur,
That his friend Dobble is as superior to any man he ever knew.
As Mrs. Dobble is far beyond any woman he ever saw.
Except
her daughters.
and he will conclude by proposing their worthy host and hostess, and may they live to enjoy many more New Years.
The toast is drunk with acclamation, and the whole party repairs to the drawing room.
Young men who are too bashful to dance before supper find tongues.
And partners.
And dancing is kept up until far in the first morning of the new year.
The first stroke of 12 peals from the neighbouring churches.
Strictly speaking, it may not be more impressive now than at any other time.
But we measure our life by years, and we have passed another landmark.
May we be sensible of that timely warning we so often neglect, and of all the warm feelings that glow within us now.
Happy New Year!